Alrighty. Another fun-filled day. China opens up trading. And what else was it out there? There was all kinds of little titty-bitties here and there. Uh, China, I was expecting to see that. Oh, there we go. Good morning, Robin. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I need the link. I cannot find it on there.
I sent it over to you.
Already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi. Bye-bye. So, China kind of moved down. I mean, it was up. We were thinking it should be up around 300 points today, and it closed up about 150. And I guess we can show it to you. What do we have up on there? I have VIX on up right now, so let's go show you to you. Which one are we seeing here? Let's go there, there. I was a little surprised, and Hong Kong responded with a nice sell-off of. They gave back about 4 or 5 days of action. You can see right here. Let's just show it to you in a full screen. Boom, 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 boom. Look at the high there. The high was 3,674. We were thinking it would get around the 3,700 area, and it ended up closing at 3,489. So, it was almost 200 points off its high. It was 185 points. 185 points. And Hong Kong, go like this. Let me just show you Hong Kong. Hong Kong knocked out about 3 or 4 days of gains, something like that. Let's go see where it's at. But, we've been saying that it's not enough. In other words, there was I think they made a statement. Someone made a statement in China, well, it's not exactly going to be free money. And we've seen Morgan Stanley and a few of the other major brokerage houses say that they need quantitative easing. Well, they can't do quantitative easing. They're a communist country. They don't, it doesn't work that way. They don't have the mechanics for that. So you can see here, let's make this whole thing big so you can see it full screen. So you can see here they took out, this is Hong Kong last night, and they took out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of basically gains, I guess you could say. They really don't have, in other words, what I read and what made sense to me was what I read kind of insinuated, kind of suggested. It kind of said, hey, guess what? If they put more money in, it's going to bring in the sellers. And then the government's going to be stuck holding everything. That's quantitative easing. Okay? So they're not up for that. And we've told you that they need to put in, the highest estimate is 27 trillion won. They're putting in we'll just round these numbers out. 1 trillion. But they should be putting in 27 trillion. They're not really gonna jump much more than that. Now 1 trillion won is equal to about $150 billion. That's all they're putting in. Now, if this was the second largest economy in the world, wouldn't you think they could throw they could throw a $1 trillion at it? You're the second largest economy in the world. Not a trillion won, trillion dollars, which would be what the most speculative amount of money that needs to be thrown into China to perk up its economy is 27 trillion won, or you just divide that by 7 and it's about $4 trillion. Okay, so it's a little less than $4 trillion. It's like 3.7, something like that. So the best they're doing is they're putting out 100. I'm going to use round numbers and say I'm going to round out cheaper on the dollar way and just be flat with the Chinese number. And that is they're putting in 150 billion, but they should be putting in 3.5 trillion. So they're putting in 150 billion into the economy, and that's the stimulus. But it should be for the size of the alleged economy. If they are truly as big as they claim, then it should be a little more than $3.5 trillion, not $150 billion. I think I got that across. So again, we always say here we can't trust their numbers. Nothing makes any sense. They don't foot. They default. One of their largest real estate companies defaulted on less than $125 million. Was it million? Yeah, million. They defaulted on $125 million, not billion, not trillion. Their largest. That's the Evergrande. If they had just found, supposedly they were worth $11 billion, you would think they could find, 150 million. Go rent a room somewhere. Rent 1,000 rooms, houses, whatever. When you're allegedly, when you're supposedly, when you tell the whole world you are, then why can't they find these dollars? Why can't they do that? Now here, they went away for a week hoping that everybody would forget, I guess. So they go away for a whole week for a holiday, which is fine with me. I believe in holidays. And so, but they come back and their stock market leaps like it should. And then they take out almost 185 points off of it from where they started, the high. So that's my point of view. I try not to confuse things. I am not angry at China. I am not pro-China. I am not negative China. I just don't understand the math that they talk. And then I don't see the math that they should be doing in, make that rubber of the tire hit the road, hit the ground. It's not doing it. It never does. And no one says a word about it. They just want to sing the wonderful song, "This is a communist country. It's the second largest economy in the world." When in fact, it is not. It's probably number 4 or 5. And when you have slave labor, basically it's not that hard to be number 4 or 5 in the world. It really isn't. When you have over 1,000,000,004 people, and a good third or half of it is slave labor, and then some are even worse off than that. They're end result is that the numbers don't match. They never match, and this is the only way we can figure out what is going on is by action, not word, not fantasy, not declaration of, we're doing this, we're doing that. We can only tell you what we see physically, real, now. And I don't see anything. They're panicking in the reverse. Matter of fact, I saw an article yesterday, I think I said it here yesterday, that said it's too late for China. That's what it was like Morgan Stanley or Goldman Sachs. I think it was Goldman Sachs' guy said that we're already too late for China. So in other words, I guess they're insinuating that they're past the point of being able to fix or help their economy. I guess that's what it's really coming down to, which is pretty wild. But anyway, that is the China story, and you can see the Hang Seng up there, and it's pushing itself into a daily sell, and the weekly's still firm. We'll see how they go. This is what, Tuesday. We'll see how they bring this all the way out to the end of the week. All right, just took a sip of water there. Now, let's go take a look at where do we go from there? Let's go over to the dollar index. It looks like it's rolling over a little bit. It's curving down, but we'll get a better view of it right now when we put it up on the screen. Not there. Right there. There it is. There we go. You can see here it was up on Monday, off a little bit today. There's the tail though. Look at it down at the bottom. I mean, it's moving back up towards the high of the day, but still not plus for the day in the sense of it closed yesterday at 102. 54, and right now we're trading at 102, 40, 45, 46. So we're not that far off. It was an interesting bounce we had out of there. Um, we were saying, flight to dollar, flight to safety, that type of thing. Maybe that this was the Middle East situation. You can see here. Let's review back to this is the dollar, and it might have been the Middle East, and it's the situation going on in the Middle East. And then we go take a look at. We're going to go right to energy for a second here, just the crude oil at the moment, West Texas Intermediate, because this is what caught my eye this morning with it. Obviously, you can see here on the giant, it looks the same as the dollar index, and today it's pairing off. You can see it made a new high up into the 78.50 area, basically. And it closed at 75.65 area. Almost $3 off from high to low. Just a tad, like $2.80, basically. That's a lot. Big drop. It's been doing some big gains because they're concerned about the Middle East and what Israel is going to do after they fired 181 rockets that are the size of a public bus, like a commercial bus or truck, like a tractor and trailer. Those rockets, each rocket was the size of a giant tractor and trailer, or a tractor and trailer, not a giant one, just a tractor and trailer, which is giant when you're looking at it as it's moving at 60 miles an hour at you. So imagine there were 181 tractor and trailers full of dynamite falling from the sky to hit Israel. And so that made people nervous about what Israel will do. And I think what they're going to do is what they've been doing to the other two opponents. They're just going to remove leadership as time goes on. It makes it easier. Well, I'm going to say this, and this is very speculative. I'm going to say it's very, very speculative. But there was a ripple in Iran yesterday. It could have been a low-yielding test of a nuclear weapon. So, these things, Iran equated it to a small earthquake away from population centers. To me, it wouldn't to test a small nuclear yield. They have the materials, they have the technology. Mr. Biden has been very supportive of Iran having a nuclear weapon. So, it's more than likely they probably did their very first nuclear test. You're not going to see any confirmations of it. You'll probably not even hear anything about it. But you're hearing it here that there was a ripple, and it didn't have the characteristics of a earthquake. And it was a very small ripple, but it was a ripple of enough to be detected across the area there. So, and that's that. So that would be a good reason why dollars are being bought up, and why oil was running through the roof, that type of thing. That's why it was going zoom, zoom, and zoom-y, like that, going like that. I mean, that literally looks like the dollar index, same way. So I would imagine that is the reason why we saw that strength. Nothing more than flight to safety. That's about it. All right. So from there, let's see, what else have we got going on here? Let's go over and take a look at the euro. Unless any trader out there or viewer or whatever you want to call yourselves, want to see something, put it on the chat line. We'll go take a look at it. If not, we'll just go through our old simple rhythm that we always do. But I'm always willing to stop and have a little fun and look at anything else. So here's the euro. You see the euro is trying to gain against the dollar. It's trying to lift back up. We're seeing it. We're seeing a green and a red right now. See, we had the green and the red right before the slide. And that happens a lot of times. That's why I say it. It kind of indicates a slice of volatility kicking up. You can see it happened right there before. It usually seems to come a couple days ahead of the action, and then all of a sudden, boom, so you can try to whittle your way into a straddle over the next day when it happens. And then imagine if you had a straddle on for this move. Obviously it's a big winner chicken dinner. Same thing here. You see the green and the red and on one bar, and then the next day you're whittling, trying to get in there and building a straddle, and then it goes from 11 down to, over a 4-day period, down to 109. What is that? 109.50 from almost 12. So, or in this case here, it was 11:35. So that's doesn't happen all the time. I know the math to why it's doing it. I just don't know why the math is working, over the decades. But it does. It picks it up sometimes. It doesn't pick it up all the time. It didn't do it there. And you can see it turned around and ran up. Or it didn't do it here. It gave us a blank. It didn't even give us any dots at all. And it broke down. That, says a lot too. So it's an interesting thing. You can see here where we had no dots. And within 3 days, it finally started to take off. There it is right there. From that day, second day, nothing much, just a little strength. Next day, real strength, real strength. So when we have double dots or no dots, it seems to have some profound effect, picking up that ripple, as I call it, when things become louder than normal. A ripple that acts differently than normal. We're always rippling. Everything is always moving. It's just that sometimes my math picks up ripples. All right. So from there, where do we go from there? Let's go look at the cable. And here's the cable. And you see here the cable. Let's see if we have any signs. Here it goes. Right there. We had the green and the red right there. And one day later, you're working to get the position on, and then the next thing you know, whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. Matter of fact, is that a blank? I think that is a blank. There is no dot at all on that one. Maybe there is a dot. I don't know. Maybe we should make that dot a little bit bigger. Let's go in and do that. Let's format indicators. Yeah, see, there is a green dot there. So that's not a blank. That's not a blank. That was a blank right there. And then it broke down. So, and there's a blank right there. And it broke down. And is there a blank around here, or a green and a... I think there it is. There's a green right there. Let's see if we can widen this thing. Yeah, so there's a green and a red right there, and you get this massive move on the upside. Imagine if you had a straddle on here. Boy, yum from the 127 area up to the 133 area. All right, so just a little magic. I'd like to show you the little magic that does work, and it's always fun to look at. So, all right, from the cable, we'll go over to those, as I like to call them, the inflation fighters. I have names for everybody. The inflation fighters. And you can see here, they were rallying. It was rallying against the dollar yesterday. It seems to be giving it up a little bit today, which is a little surprising. It's in a buy now. It's losing. When it's going up in value, it's losing against the dollar, and vice versa. When it's going down, it's gaining against the dollar. See, we're in a weekly buy, going on a second week. It's holding up in here. I guess they were buying dollars. I mean, they were buying Swiss and dollars yesterday. And today they're selling. What's interesting is they're selling dollars and they're selling Swiss. Interesting. From there we go to Japan. Let's see what Japan did. We'll go take a look at the whole ball of wax. Oh, you're not seeing any of this. Darn it. Darn it. I didn't show you any of that. I just realized that. I looked over to the other screen. There's so many screens here. Looked up and realized, see, I got to look at it there. It's right there to the left of me. I got to remember to look right there all the time. All right. In other words, I can see what's being played on the OBS on the second screen next to me, and I don't look there. Somehow or another, I always look way over to the left where it's actually originally at. I gotta remember to look over here. Matter of fact, let's make that whole screen the screen, so that I don't do that again. I don't like that. Me not likey. Oh, I see what happens. That's why I can't make it the whole screen, because then I can't see the chat line. That's what the problem is. Okay. All right, that's not bad. We're all right. So let's just go show you those 2 points again. There's the GBP one, and right there was no dot, and then you had that slide, and then this one was a red. Where was the red and green at? Oh, it was here. There was the red and the red and the green there, and you had that big move there. You had a red and a green here, and it broke down. And when there is nothing like this, it broke down in this case right there. I mean, well, first it went into the red, and then you played the downside from there. That type of thing. But it usually shows the increased volatility that's going to happen and the bigger ripples. So, same. There's your euro right there. Matter of fact, that's what we're getting right now. We'll see how well that plays out. And then we went to the inflation fighter. There it is right there. You can see it's lifting up, or it's losing against the dollar, and the dollar is losing against all the pairs trades. Funny how they all do that. And then here you go. You had the green and the red, and it took off. Okay, and didn't even give you a chance. You know, the next day, they were you're widgeting your way into it. You were like, man, I didn't get the position I won on, but at least it doubled again. So that's cool. In weekly buys, and let's go put up the yen. Not the yen, the Nikkei. Let's see what the Nikkei did last night. See if it was plus or minus to the Chinese market. Let's see, where is that at? I know what it is. There it is. And now you can see it at the same time. And so what did they do to this thing? Looks like it was down a little bit. We'll make it larger so you can see it. Yeah, it was down. It was down. Let's see. Let's go back to that. And let's see how it is. Did it go into a daily sell? Nope, it's in a daily buy still. And we're in a weekly buy still. Right there. Isn't that neat? Look at it. We can see these things so much clearer now. So much more clearer. That's why there's no reason to give anybody static charts. They should be able to just tie into the system and look at this. One day you will. All right. From the yen, we slide over to the Great Experiment. That's what we call the Turkish lira currency. It's the Great Experiment. It's been doing all right the last couple of days. You know, it's like, I think it's what's it say on the spreadsheet? I think it's 5 days now on a daily sell, which is nice. That means that inflation is dropping in Turkey. So we always cheer for that. Yeah, 5 days right there. We're 2 weeks in a sell. We're 5 days in a sell. It's a winner chicken dinner. Right there. Starting to flatten out a little bit. And we're getting a green and a red again. See, we had a green and a red right before this took the slide. That was a small one. Green and a red there. And it lifted up. And it gave you that green signal and went higher. There's a green and a red right. Matter of fact, there's back-to-back ones right there. Green and red. And then it took off. This thing is real noisy. Lots of noise. The same thing here. Here's a double one again. Green and red. Right in here. Can you see that mouse? Yeah, like that. We'll go like this. Right in here. Green and red. And then nothing. Blank. Green and red. And then it kind of started to go into the buy. Choked a little bit. And I think it was in the buy all along through that. And boom. Zoom. Goes from 35.5 up to 38. Zoom. Zoom. Yep. Wow. All right. So that's the Turkish lira. Now what we'll do is we'll slide. So high. Slide. We slide. We so fly. All right. Let's see. Let's go to the South African Rand. Ooh, kind of trapped a little bit in here, pushing up a little bit. You know, it's been going up for the last couple of days. So there is pressure on the metals complex. Let's show you the metals complex because of that. There's gold. Gold drifting sideways down. Not even. Can you really even call that down when the all-time high is 2,700 and we're only $36 or $37 away? Not exactly down. You know, I always like to say it's chopping sideways down, that type of thing. It's chopping. You know, it's not solid. And then silver. Silverado. Second day in a sell. You can see the fast is breaking through the zero line. Interesting. Some pressure there. We'll see. You know, it could do this for 4 or 5 days. Just go sideways down a little bit, pop up, and then sideways down again. And next thing you know, it builds a new bottom. We get into a buy, and you get some strength. You know, we could probably, you know, more likely we may see this here. Especially if there's been a little mini ripple. Imagine if someone would actually make that statement on the financial channels. There was a mild earthquake with no seismic characteristics in Iran in a non-populated area. I mean, most of the time they have earthquakes. It seems like there's people everywhere around it. But this one found a way to find a place that nobody is. So, did they or did they not test a new bomb? That's the bigger question. All right, and there's copper. Copper, you would assume if they did and it gets out, those metals are going to definitely look a little bit more solid on the upside. And you can see here copper, you know, is 6, 7 days down. You know, it's that's a decent little drop for it. It's about 20 cents. You know, pretty much high to low. I mean, it's a little under 20 cents, but right close to it. And, you know, that's the gold of China. So you would think that if the Iranians were really doing this, you would think that the Chinese would be front running it. You know, you would. I mean, you know, they work together, and in many ways, you know, the way China acts, and then if you're trying to understand the Middle East situation, you have to assume you have to watch China at the same time more than Russia, because China is more, I guess you say, vulnerable economically, whereas Russia, you know, they find ways to make money. They have a lot of natural resources, enormous amounts of oil. I think they produce over 10 million barrels a day, whereas China has to buy it. I think they may produce about a billion. I'm not sorry, not billion, million barrels a day, or 1.5 million. But they buy, like, you know, they need about 3 or 4 million barrels a day or something like that for their economy, which is odd because, you know, the United States needs 13 million barrels a day. So if they're the second largest economy in the world, why aren't they, you know, using 10 million barrels a day or 11 million barrels a day or 12 million barrels a day, not 3 or 4 million barrels a day? I might be wrong about that. Let's Google that. That'd be kind of fun. Let's see what Google says about that. Oil used in China daily. I just know that they buy 3 or 4 million barrels from Iran all the time. So it could be 6 or 7 million. We'll see. It could be 8 or 9 million. Who knows? China consumes 16 million barrels oil per day in 23, which is a record high. This is an increasing from 15 million. I'm way wrong there. See that? Doc's always willing to try to be accurate. I see. Yeah, so they're using the same amount of oil we are. That makes sense, but they have 4 times the population. I think that's where my brain was at. I think that's exactly where my brain was at. Uh, we use, I think, what's the United States use? Oil used in USA daily. $20 million a day. Okay. And they're using basically 16 million barrels a day. And they have 1.4 billion people. We have 350 million people. So they have 4 times the population we have. And we use 4 more million barrels than them. So something's wrong with that picture also. There's another mathematical confusion to me. If you're the second largest economy in the world and challenging the first, I would think China would need to be using, well, at least 3 times more. They should be using, if they're using 16, they should be at least using 45 million barrels a day. I mean, how are they going to be equal with the United States if they're only using 16 million barrels a day and we're using 20? They have a population of 1.4 billion and we have a population of 350 million. Something's, again, another confusion there with the math. How is it the second largest economy in the world challenging the first if it only uses a third of the amount of oil? That's what that's what was in my memory, I guess. I realized that they're only using a quarter to a third of the amount of oil we use. That per person. I remember that now. Yeah. I think I've looked at this before and shook my head. See, I have to, the only way I can figure out what China is doing is by exactly what they're spending money on, and how they're doing it. Biggest thing they like to spend money on is military weapons. So, obviously, that's where their heads are at. All right. So from there, let's. Oh, you didn't even see that. Yeah, well, that's okay. That was a verbal. You could see the verbal. So, from there, let's see what platinum is doing. There's platinum, still moving down. And it's in the weekly buy like all the rest of the metals, but it's the dailies have been in a daily sell now for 3 days. 3 days. Had a no right there, no dot at all, and now we've had a sell-off from, I guess it's down 25, 26. Let's see, it closed at, let's see what the next day, let's just use the next day of anywhere between 1,018 to 1,000, to basically $1,000. And now the low today is 69. So it's a $31 move, $35 move. That's 5%. It's a little less than 4% move. All right. Now we go to energies. And you can see here, again, we have a high of there of 78.46 on this particular platform, and we're trading at 75.58. So we're just almost $3 off. It's $2.80 some odd cents off, and you can see it's curving over. And let's just go back to it on the other platforms. There we are. You see that there, doing the same thing, gliding down as I showed you before. And we'll see. I guess only time will tell, traders. Only time will tell. All right, and then from there we go over to Brent. Not there. Okay, Brent. BZ. There it is right there. Here comes the Brent. Brent looking the same way. Let's make it big so we can see. So the high was 82, basically 82 and 8 cents, but we'll just say 82. And right now it's trading at let's see, so it's trading at 79.51. right now. So that's what's that? That's a $1.50, $1.65. So it's just a little thinner, not as much as $1.85, but it's basically the same. Brent is backing off the same way. Hmm. All right there. So that is the Brent. Let's go take a look at heating oil. Right there. Oop. Let's give it a spin. Spin diddy doo dah. Right there. You can see that's backing off. Not going into the sell here at all. You can see that. But you see it right here. Just like, the underlining product itself backing off. Look at that. This one's cool. The high was $2.40, basically 41.82. So let's round it out to 42 cents. 2.42. And the low is 233 and a half basically. So 33 and a half versus 42, 7, that's 9 cents. It's a good size move. And so it's backing off a little bit now. Has that same look, because the oil went marching up and dollar went marching up, and heating oil. This is what feeds all the airplanes and the trucks and all that stuff. All right. Let's see. Huh. Now, let's go check out. Let's check out. What are we checking out? We're going to check out the natural gas right there. That's been going down for the last couple of days. Interesting. And in a daily sell for the last couple of days. Now we just need the weekly to go into it. Now that's, here we are going into the winter months here in Northern Hemisphere. So, ooh. Interesting. So that is the magic to it all on the natural gas. It's backing off and it's not that freaked out. All right. Now from there we go to the last of the energies that we usually look at, and that is that energy company in Spain. We always try to find something in Europe to get a better flavor of what Europe is going through. I saw a tough article this morning on Brussels. The way they've passed the budget for the European Union, it makes them have more control over the money for the nation states. So in other words, they say no. It's more no than usual. They are really starting to put pressure on them. There it is right there. There we are. You see here, it's trying to go green today. It's been in a sell for, 4 days. And we're just flirting with the plus side. See it there? It's 0.013. And it's got a green dot going on. And you can see we're trying to climb into the weekly also. Now that's interesting, as this has been 3 weeks in a sell. And let's go back to the natural gas. Right there. Natural gas is also a bunch of days of sells, and it's also in buys. Whereas the energy company down in Spain has been in a weekly sell trying to climb into a weekly buy. Interesting. Right there. Yeah, 3 weeks in a sell. So it's trying to climb into that buy. It's trying to get it back into the daily buy. So that's going to be interesting action here. I did see the Ukraine says they're going to shut the Russian pipe down that feeds Europe. You would think they'd be able to. Someone would lay new pipe by now. After how many years of war is it? Didn't they start that war in February of 22, or is it 21 now? February 21? No. Yeah, I guess so. February 22, so 23, and February 24. We're going on 3 years. February of 25 will be 3 full years. You would have thought by now someone would have come up with even if it's a temporary type thing, some type of lay the pipe, put the weld on it, and run some energy to somebody, that type of thing. Sometimes you just got to wonder about world leaders. Alrighty. Where do we go from here? I guess we start looking around the world and see what everybody's been doing. So we saw China, and we saw Hong Kong, and we've seen Tokyo. It was down. And so Hong Kong was down big, a 5-day drop, basically. One day in 5 days, boom, down. China, after being closed for 8 days, sold the highs totally, and was not even halfway up where it should have been. They put a haircut on a haircut. Then we saw Tokyo down for the day. Let's see what South Korea looked like. There we go. Looks like down a little bit. Nothing major. There it is. You see, did the same thing as Tokyo. Bang. Knock it down. Knock that down. And then we go, you see here, in a daily buy for 2 days. But in weekly sells, so nada. You can't trade that. And then we go and look at Taiwan. Right there. Chip World. Bring on the chips. Looks like it's trying to flirt with the daily sell there. Yeah, minus 79. And it's in a buy here. So it's really, it's still in the buy up in here because it's weekly buy, daily buy. But we'll see. It's trying to get into the sell. Trying to get you out of that. It's interesting. Not a gain there at the moment. No. Let's just show to you even more close and up and personal. Didn't even take out the high. In other words, it didn't run up here first and then go down. So then we go to where do we go from here? We go to, let's see, Singapore. Let's see what Singapore is up to. They're definitely in focus or what's going on more than anybody else. At least I always think they are. They were way ahead of the sugar high coming from China. They were in there buying way before that. Here it comes now. And they pushed that into a sell. And it's in a sell there. And it's weekly. Look at all three are trying to push into the down. Maybe they see something we don't see. These are smart traders there in Singapore. That's why Gleason played off of them all the time. Poor Baring Bank. I always feel sorry for Baring Bank. When I see a lion, I think of them. All right. From Singapore, we'll jump over to Jakarta, which is like the largest oil producer in the Pacific Rim there, I guess you could call it. Jakarta. I think they produce between 4 and 5 million barrels a day. Right there. Ooh, look at that nice pop. It's been in a buy for a while. Now it's trying to get into the buy, but we're in weekly sells for 2, going on second week. So it's been kind of tough to be long. In other words, it wouldn't let you be long because it's in a weekly sell. So nothing more than that going on. Doesn't look like they're making it damaging in any particular way. Let's take a look at it even closer, like so. Yeah, they gave that a good pop, didn't they? Then we go over to, we slide into the Indian Ocean and go over to the Nifty 50. Nifty 50. right there. That's interesting. It's been in daily sells now for 6 days. It's been gliding down for 7 days. Had a little pop there, but still, and in a weekly sell for a second week. Let's take a look at it this way. Yeah, a little action there. All right, now from there, we drift over to. I wish we could get the Saudi Arabian thing. I wonder if we can get any of these Saudi Arabian things. I'd like to see something in Saudi Arabia. It's always nice. That's basically between Israel and Saudi Arabia, they're the two economic powers in the Middle East. So it'd be nice to be able to see stuff from them. It doesn't want to give us this Saudi Arabian oil company anymore, and I don't understand why. Let's try it one more time. No. Let's see where it's at. It's been playing with the 26s and 27s, even when oil was running up. Let's see. So that's a 2-2. 2-2. Yeah, see, there's the Arabian company. Let's just look at that. We should try to put that other thing in there, that manufacturing. Yeah, see, it's at $27, and you can see here it came down from the 28.5, 29, and it's been gliding down. Notice it's not going up with oil taking off almost $14 on the upside. Really didn't pick up any, and that's why I'm so sad that we don't get that anymore. I don't know what the malfunction is, but let's try the other energy. Not energy, but let's see what the other manufacturing, the other Saudi Arabian company that they have up there. 2-2-2-2 National. Where was it at? Just had it. Let's go back one. There it is. And let's take a look at that over a 3-month period. It's been climbing. It's more like a stock index maybe. National Metal Manufacturing and Casting Company. Well, that will show industrial growth, that's for sure. Let's see if we can get that up on the screen. Sure would love to have some Saudi Arabian companies that we could, show. Let's see. Where do I go from here? I go there. And I go from there, and then there, and I go add a product, and I go like that, paste, and then I go like that. There. There we are. Create user doc. All right. Now we go like that. We slide down. Let's see what happens. Please give it to us. We need something from Saudi Arabia. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. What is the malfunction here? Ugh. Alright, we're going to have to find it. If your application owner check logs for more information, we'll have to find out what that is. Okay. Alright, let's see what else we can possibly... Well, let's go over to Tel Aviv. We'll go over to Tel Aviv and see if we can find out what's going on there. Let's give that spin. Maybe Dubai. I wonder if Dubai has an index. We should see if we can get Dubai's index. Something besides Tel Aviv. I want to see the real powerhouses over there, doing their thing. There you go. Here's Tel Aviv. Sideways the last couple of days. It's in a sell for the last 4 days there. In a weekly buy for a couple of weeks. And it's been climbing. For all that noise and weaponry and all like that, it seems to be still climbing, which is curious in its own right. Let's see. Let's go over to here. Dubai. Let's see if we can find something from Dubai. Dubai NASDAQ 15 industry. Oh, I like this. This looks cool. Let's do that. Dubai, it's a 15 stock index. I like that. Excuse me. Let's put that in there. It better come up. Users. Products. Let's go with products. Add. Paste. Then go there. All right. Grab that. Copy. Excuse me. Create. Got our fingers crossed on this one, traders. Go to the user. That's me. DocDow. Scroll down. I think I'm going to just blow out the other two until we figure out what the issue is. All right. And then we go back to it. Zinc. Zinc-a-dink-a-dink. Come on, traders. Let's cross our fingers. Hope it works. Yay. Look at that. We got it. What's up with that? Just showing you where it's at today. Oh man, what's wrong with this world? Don't they understand that money makes the world go round? All right, let's go from there. All right, I've given up. Let's go take a look at Europe before we get out of here. Let's go take a look at the DAX. DAX, and more DAX. GDAX, that's what it is. It's a GDAX. Right there we go. There's the DAX. Kind of weak like the rest of the stock indices, kind of sloppy and steady, you know. In the daily, you see it's over the zero line here, but they're red dots. And we're in a buy. We get a green dot, it tells you to be long. Right now, it's telling you to be neutral. Let's take a look at the FTSE. Right there, there's the FTSE. Now that's interesting. They pushing it hard on the sell here today. Look at that. And we're in a weekly zone. Let's see. We're going to make that bigger so you can see it. There's a push down. Look at that. Bang. Going after these lows in here. That's interesting when you're trying, go with the support and resistance areas. Full serve. And then let's take a look at it here. Here's the algorithm. Bang. It's going down too. And let's see what the weekly looks like right there. Yeah, it's pushing the weekly down. Look at that. The fast is trying to jump up. The slow is moving down. A lot of pressure in there. Lots of noise. Lots of noise. And that is the FTSE. Let's take a look at. Let's see what Brussels is doing. And then we'll go over to Paris from there. There's Brussels. Brussels has been rolling over for 4 days now. Look at that. And the weekly is still in the buy. It's going to have to do some work to get into the sell. Let's see what the CAC 40 from in Paris is. And let's give it a spin. There we go. That's green dots for 3 days. It's been in cells, and it looks like it's... Let's try it right there. Let's go with the full screen. Yeah, so it was in a buy yesterday, and it's buy today. And let's go to the weekly. It's been in a weekly buy for 3 weeks, so that's doing the right thing. All right, traders. Oh, you know what we don't have is we don't have a title today. We'll come up with something. So anyhow, This is Doc from North America saying, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Ta-ta, traders. Catch you tomorrow on Wednesday. Happy to hump day. So looking forward to seeing what they do today to this market. Ta-ta for now.